By the authority of the Privy Council granted to York St. John University, I declare this ceremony open for the conferment of degrees and presentation of awards. Will you please sit? Lord Mayor, Lord Mayors, Consul, Sheriff and Sheriff's Lady, Vice Chancellor, Brian Deere, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, and of course our graduates on the two wings of this wonderful place. It is with great joy that I welcome you all today to York Minster to take part in this celebration of achievement. I call upon the registrar to announce the award of degrees. The authority invested in me as Chancellor of York St. John University, I confer upon you your degrees and awards for which you have been presented. Congratulations.
I call upon the Chancellor to confer an honorary degree of the University on Brian Deere, to be presented by the Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Professor Alison Tobin.
On behalf of York St. John University, I am delighted and honoured to welcome Brian Deere to this graduation ceremony. When all authority is against you, well then you must be right. This subversive phrase was uttered by Sir Harry Evans, the former editor of the Sunday Times and a role model for our honorary graduand. The judges for Brian's first Specialist Journalist of the Year prize commented that he was probably the only journalist in Britain who policed the drugs companies. The second time he won the award, he was recognised for his outstanding perseverance, stamina and revelations on a story of major importance. This was his investigation, which took many years, of Andrew Wakefield's claim of the supposed link between autism and the MMR vaccine. A claim that was totally unfounded, but caused parents across the world to refuse to allow their children to be vaccinated. Brian Deere has demonstrated time and time again that we need curious, tenacious and courageous journalists like him, perhaps even more than ever before. On behalf of York St. John University, I am delighted to recognise Brian Deere's impact on society through his outstanding investigative journalism by the award of an honorary degree. Chancellor, I present to you for the award of the degree of Doctor of Letters, honoris causa, Brian Deere.
Brian Deere, I admit you to the degree of Doctor of Letters, honoris causa. Congratulations.
Thank you.
There's a guy down there as well. Now, you can address the people now, sir.
There's my thesis. People have got PhDs for worse than this. Not here though. What a great day, isn't it? It's like Mother's Day, Father's Day and Halloween all rolled into one. And in case you wonder, yes, at the back there, we do all talk about our outfits, what the fabric is, the colours are, who gets fur at which universities. It's a whole thrill for everybody, as much behind the scenes as it is here out in front. But you know, I got up here yesterday and I was walking through the shambles, and there was one of yesterday's graduates. He was walking along in his outfit, and he was walking along kind of like, I'm only really wearing this because my parents want me to. They're here and they want me to wear it. But you could see in his eyes that he was really proud of himself, and you could see in their eyes, walking along, trailing along behind, parents or guardians or important adults to him. They were trailing along, and they were incredibly proud of him. But what I think that perhaps some people here, some of the graduates here, don't realise is that your parents and guardians and friends and significant relationships who are in this part of the Minster here, they're also feeling something else at times like this. And deep down, in addition to feeling incredibly proud of your accomplishments and this rite of passage which we're going through now, deep down, they're kind of feeling, in a funny way, really pissed. Because for them, I think, a lot of them, this is also quite a bittersweet moment. See, you see what's going on here now, but they're also parents thinking about, well, all those years in the past when you were 14 and your accomplishments then, and when you were 12 and 7, and things have gone on in your past, and they look back down through your childhood at moments like this, and they think to themselves, it goes so quickly. But my message, I think, today is to give you just a little view from slightly further down the road of life. And to say to you that from my experience, and I think probably for many people's here's experience in this part of the Minster, is that every year, every month, every week, and sometimes it seems every day passes quicker than the last one. You don't notice it at the time. It's like when you live with somebody and you know somebody well and you don't see them get older because each day is just that tiny bit less like the day before. But it's a phenomenon which every generation, I think, becomes aware of. Maybe as we get older, it's our fear of death catching up on us, and we start thinking, well, there's not much time left now, and you're working out how old you are and how much your life expectancy is in a developed country like this. Or maybe, and this is my theory, it's the expanding universe. It's the fact that everything is moving away from itself so rapidly, the distances get further, and therefore speed needs to increase, time needs to increase, and therefore we get that sense as we get older of the acceleration of life. But if you're one of today's graduates and you think, oh, no, I already know how life accelerates and how every day seems to be shorter than the last one, believe me, you don't. Believe me, you've got no idea until you get to my age, or perhaps a little bit younger, before you start to realize how quickly life passes, how short life is. I tell you, it's funny, I was looking at Facebook the other day, looking up an old friend of mine at Warwick University back in the late 1970s, and I found his Facebook page, and there was a photograph of him there, and he looked exactly in his profile photograph the way he did then. And I looked at it again, I thought, how can that be? I was almost wanting to look in the mirror and thinking, well, what's he got that I haven't got? And then I realized it was his photograph from all those years ago. Those years were so important to him that all these decades later, it's still his profile photograph on Facebook. And it seems sometimes, I think, when you're at university that it certainly seemed to me that this was a really meaningful chunk of time. I went to Warwick and I did philosophy. And after 3 years, I can say that, looking back on it, after 3 years of studying philosophy, really examining what we can know, what exists, is there a God, where is the library, these big questions that you have to confront at university, I realized that all those crazy notions I had when I was a teenager, all those crazy ideas were basically right. Basically right. We look at things as young people as very black and white. I know I did. Things are true, things are false, things are right, things are wrong. They're yin and they're yang. But then as time goes on, it's almost like it becomes like a chessboard. Maybe there's 64 squares, that much complexity. And as you get older, there are more and more squares added as life expands exponentially. And eventually, I think for most people, and perhaps for all of us, we have to stand back and look at the picture, and what we see is essentially a grey. All those black and white squares become a grey, and I think some people, when they become older, when they become middle-aged, actually do see things forever as grey until it fades to black, and they're gone. But it doesn't have to be like that. You can actually, if you get right up close and you look at things real carefully, you still see black and white. You still see that there is truth, there is falsity, whatever Donald Trump might say about it. Things are right and wrong, and those blacks and those whites and those clear lines are still there if you go out and look for them. So, what lies ahead? What's the point of what it is that I had to say today? Will my generation do more to kick away the ladder that they have from your generation? Will Donald Trump blow up the world? I don't know. But whether your future is going to be better or worse, whatever that might mean, there will be a lot less of it than you may presently assume. So make the most of your time now, because it's the most time you're ever going to get. Thank you very much.